Hello, everybody. It is Renee and Dee, and we are testing out our new time. So we're going to be, we used to be more around the noon hour, and now we're going to be more around the evening time frame. So what we're talking about today is how to incorporate some of those phase one herbs and different flavorings so that you can not be eating the same things day in and day out with the same flavors. So, you know, one of the things I always tell my clients, Dee, is chicken and broccoli, that's not going to be attainable for, you know, the balance of really learning a new lifestyle. So I love that Dee took some more ideas from Ryder in Seattle, where we were staying close to and enjoying dinners at, and created some more healthy, fresh recipes. So Dee, how are you today?
I'm all right. How?
So I'm coming from my hotel room here in Beverly Hills, and Dee is up in Red Cliff, Alberta. And so let's pop some of these. I know that your inspiration was chimichurri today.
Yes, mint chimichurri. So one of the things that I really wanted to focus on today was, and you hit the nail on the head, we should not be eating the same thing every day, through every week, through any type of health journey. It's not long-term sustainability. It gets boring really fast, and you're not getting the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that you're going to need either just eating broccoli every day of your life. And that's just an example. But picture here is a fresh mint chimichurri. And it piqued my interest because it was an ingredient in the most fabulous kohlrabi salad that we had while we were at Seattle Super Weekend at a restaurant called Ryder's. I think we ended up ordering it three times. Did we order that salad 3 times? I think we ordered the salad 3 times. And it, you know, mint chimichurri. So there's different versions that you can make, but right now our local greenhouse is producing fresh mint, fresh parsley, fresh cilantro, lemon basil, Thai basil, dill. Like it's amazing what is out there, and all those fresh ingredients tie in with your seasoning on your phase one sheet, which very, very often gets forgotten about. We focus on pre-bottled salad dressings, pre-bottled sauces, and we forget about nature's foods to season all of our dishes. And so I made the mint chimichurri, and we're going to see it in 3 different recipes here today. So it on its own, you can adapt the recipe to make as much or as little as you want. You can add, and again, same with the oil, to control your serving sizes and make sure you get your daily oil allowance in. So some other ingredients that you see in the picture, there is fresh garlic, there is fresh diced onions, there is a touch of red pepper flakes because I like a little bit of heat, but you don't need to add the heat. Fresh salt, fresh pepper, there's a smidge of lemon juice, a smidge of apple cider vinegar, there's loads of fresh mint. There's actually 1.5 cups of fresh mint and 1.5 cups of parsley. And the beautiful thing about these types of recipes is that you can hand chop and mix, or you could pulse and puree and mix as well too if texture is an issue. But I chose to do it by hand because I like to taste the texture. I like the taste and texture, and not the smooth puree. And so yeah. So that is our base recipe. That is the start of our recipes today, is the mint chimichurri. So yeah.
Well, okay. So one of the things, you know, one of the things that you want to take a look at is your list of all of your okayed seasonings. So important that, you know, we don't just use salt and pepper, and again, like Dee was saying, is, you know, switching from, you know, that was a hard thing for me when I first went on phase one, was, you know, switching over from my blue cheese dressings and my ranch dressings and all of the things that I was so used to using. And now, like, everything that I do has really just simple things like olive oil and fresh herbs, and really my taste buds have completely changed. So yeah, definitely chimichurri is a great, it's South American, it's flavorful, it can be used over savory meats, and you'll see the way that Dee uses it in a couple different recipes today. So if you are joining us live, give us a hashtag live. Tell us where you're from. We have some of our regular ladies on today. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
Sandy is here.
Hi, Sandy. And, hi, Sandy.
JPDC Irwin is here. So yeah, nice to see you guys.
Hello, JPDC. You touched on a really good, like when we're talking about those fresh ingredients and what's on that phase one sheet. So you touched on the olive oil, and at what an amazing ingredient that can be. Like you should speak a little bit to really good quality olive oil too, Renee.
Well, you might think I'm crazy, but I love olive oil on a lot of different things, but I buy pretty expensive olive oil. So, you know, you want it to be that first press, cold pressed. And I really like Italian olive oils, and really, as we've talked about before, knowing what is in your olive oil. So look at the ingredient list, because sometimes there's a tiny bit of olive oil and then they're mixing it with other kinds of oils. So you want to be sure you're getting, you know, extra virgin, real olive oil. So yeah, I love, my favorite is Sicilian olive oil. And you know who has a great one is Trader Joe's. It's like less than $10 for a bottle, and is absolutely delicious and flavorful. Nice. So Dee has created this fabulous, this looks so savory. I'm getting ready to go to dinner here pretty soon, so I'm hungry.
So their picture is a chicken with and what I did with this chicken, now you can do it three really simple ways, and you would get the same flavor. So you could either fill a chicken breast, so just simply slice aside, slit into your chicken breast and stuff your chimichurri and other ingredients inside, close with toothpicks, or you can pound it down for a chicken cutlet and the same thing, then fill and roll. Or you can simply put your chicken breast or choice of chicken in a pan and spread your chimichurri all over and all around it and simply bake. And all three versions taste fantastic, come out the same. The dish pictured, you can't really see it because of all the herbs and spices, but I actually also added some phase 4 cheese for my husband and one of my boys. And you could have it over, of course, your cauliflower rice, or if you were in maintenance, a different choice. But this chicken dish got 10 fingers up instead of 10 thumbs. Like, they kept saying, that is so good, that is so good, that is so good. And all it was, again, is simply that base mint chimichurri recipe stuffed inside that chicken, and just those herbs and seasoning lended its flavor to the chicken and was a fabulous dinner. So that's simple. So once again, just showing how you can take those base herbs and spices and really change up your plain chicken. So I can't eat plain chicken. I don't know too many that can. And so, you know, put in the comments what your favorite way is to gussy up your chicken. I'm not a fan of any type of bottled sauce, pre-done sugar-free sauce. I don't like sweet sauces generally on my chicken or any other meat for that matter, but I don't like, for whatever reason, on protein, I really don't like pre-bottled sauce. I love homemade marinades and rubs and homemade sauces. So this is just, the recipe really just tickled me because it is just so versatile. Yeah.
So now, is this on top of like healthier rice?
So actually that picture, guys, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. This was my husband's dinner plate, and that underneath there is real rice. So for phase 1, 2, and 3, I would use cauliflowered, rice cauliflowered. I had my chicken just over a bed of romaine.
Okay.
That day, but I ate it before I took a picture of it. And actually I had this big pretty bowl of the mint chimichurri, and I started using it before I took a picture. And so that's why at the start, you just got this tiny little picture of what was left because I only had like one serving of it left. So yeah, I had this big, beautiful bowl for a pretty picture. But then I started multitasking with my recipes, and I was like, dang it. And then I wanted to show you my pretty chicken, but I ate it. So this was a leftover. This was, he was out working in the garage, so he came in later to have his supper, and that is actually the only reason why we actually have a picture of the chicken.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Somebody got hungry. All right. So when we were in Seattle, I just fell in love with this kohlrabi salad that they were making at Ryder. And so Dee took a picture of it and promised to recreate it for me.
Mhm.
And so tell us what you did instead of, I know that there were some vegetables in here that certainly were not on phase 1. So tell us how you recreated this recipe.
So in the original recipe, it has winter squash as their squash. And so let's talk about squash for a second. So it had squash and kohlrabi are your main 2 zoodled ingredients. So winter squash are a no in phase 1, 2, and you could have it as in phase 3 as a carbohydrate if you chose. But for phase 1 and 2, we have to stay away from the winter squashes. And it's a combination of many, many things. One, that as you go on your journey, or if you're a coach or a clinic owner, it's really, really good to become familiar with vegetables that are naturally high in sugars, naturally high in carbohydrates, and even though some of them may not have a high glycemic index or glycemic load, how the starch and carbs are used within our body don't make them a good choice for any actual weight loss phase. So in this base salad, that one did have winter squashes. They are typically firmer. They have a harder outside shell. You usually will have to peel them. You only use the insides. Very sturdy. And of course, in the original version of this salad, very, very pretty. So what I had wanted to find you was actually some yellow summer squash to mimic it. But unfortunately, I could not find any yellow squash in our city. And that's one of my favorite things to do, is bebop from grocery store to grocery store to pick the best produce for my recipes. So pictured there is actually zoodled chayote, roasted chayote, and then fresh raw kohlrabi. So you have a roasted squash and then the raw peppery kohlrabi. And with that is paired roasted cumin and our chimichurri again. And this is the reason why I made the mint chimichurri, was to recreate this salad. And it is fabulous. It's just a really good salad. And the really neat thing about this too, gets talked about often too, 1 cup of squash zoodles into so many noodles. So it's really awesome. So if your eyes need volume, zoodling your squashes is an excellent way to present them. Great with cold sauces, great with hot sauces, but so this salad is a cold one, and with the roasted cumin and the mint chimichurri and the 2 different types of the roasted squash and then the raw kohlrabi, it's great taste and texture. So they really lend really nice to each other. And then 2, once you're in phase 4, if you have that favorite winter squash, then you can easily substitute it, and you could also throw on some nutritional yeast or your favorite cheese, or even a little bit of your favorite nuts if you are in phase 4. So this type of base salad, you could very easily extend it into a meal itself. So it's very good.
So the one thing that I really loved about this salad was that the way that they had used the small zoodle. Now, were you able to find a small zoodler?
I did. And it's like, and it's Amazon.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I did. I did.
You'll have to put the link in there, because what I loved about it was like the zoodles were small, which kept them kind of crunchy, because the kohlrabi itself was crunchy. Was the chayote still crunchy?
Yes, really nice, and it spirals so beautifully. I actually have I should send it to you. I took a picture of the zoodled chayote because I was so excited. It was
it was such a nice combination of not only like the chimichurri itself is kind of crunchy because it's got some fresh onions in it and the fresh herbs and what have you, and then to actually, like, I'm looking at this picture and it looks so much like that salad. So it's super yummy, you guys.
It's really good, and you know, if you're a visual, I'm very visual. I will sometimes judge things on how they look even before, like I might actually tell you that tastes good just because it looks good, and then I'll have to think about it. But the presentation of the very small zoodles it's a total game changer because it's more compact, it's firm, it makes a lovely pile. Like I had measured out 1 cup of my chayote, and it just spiraled into a huge pile. And so if you're a hungry dieter, or if you visually need to see volume on your plate to feel satisfied, and it's totally okay if you're like that. It's absolutely, presentation can be very, very important. Being satisfied with your eyes is just as important as being satisfied with your tummy. So it's fantastic. So I will send you that picture. I should have sent it with it. So simple things get me excited sometimes, guys.
Well, no, I mean, it's important to have simple, easy things to make. So if you guys are watching live, do us a favor and type in #live. And if you're watching in the replay, give us a #replay. But also, if you are interested in these recipes, remember, all you have to do is type the word newsletter. And if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, there's a 2-step process. You'll have to say yes first, and then click on the newsletter button in order to subscribe. So that way you get them every Monday. So, all righty. Dee was, she's, even since Easter, she's been talking about these deviled eggs. Tell us about them. Dee, are you there? Uh-oh. I think we don't have Dee here with us. All right, so well, I don't know how the deviled eggs are made, but Dee has been talking about them. So one of the great things about eggs is they're super, super versatile, and you are able to make them in so many different ways. So 3 eggs equals approximately 4 ounces of protein. And so what I like to do is, you know, each egg is about 1.5 ounces of protein per egg. And so if you are using your eggs as your protein, just think about, like, if you're making a salad, you can have a couple boiled eggs on your salad, and that's about 3 ounces of protein. That means you have 5 ounces of protein left for later.
I don't know if you guys can hear me or if we're offline.
We just
I
got
do see a picture
Dee.
of the deviled eggs.
Dee, are you there?
Up
Can you
now,
hear me?
but we've lost Renee.
I don't think.
I'm gonna see if I can find her.
Okay, tell us, you guys, who you're hearing. Are you hearing Dee or Renee? Okay, do we get me back?
Whoops.
Okay, sorry, you guys. I'm broadcasting from a hotel, so I don't know. Maybe my internet connection is. So basically, when I lost you, I kept talking about eggs and how to basically, each egg is basically an ounce and a half. So, I was just describing if you're using eggs as protein, it's about 3 eggs for 4 ounces of protein. And Cynthia says she can hear us both now. All right. So let's talk about these deviled eggs.
All right, so eggs are on our phase 1 sheet as a source of protein. To use them as your daily source, you have to use 2 to 4 whole, and the remainders must be white. 6 eggs, guys. 6 eggs is what you need. 2 to 4 whole, the remainders must be white. So we just had Easter. Some of you may celebrate that holiday, and some of you may color eggs, and some of us still color eggs even if we don't have littles. And instead of putting those, wasting those eggs, deviled eggs are an awesome way to use them up. And so I peeled half a dozen eggs, and I just simply discarded 2 of the yolks. So I used 4 whole yolks, and then I would have 12 egg halves to fill. And I love making deviled eggs, and I love making so very many kinds. And my most favorite one I have already shared with you all, so I decided to do a different one. And this one is pickled jalapenos. And I keep pickled jalapenos in my fridge. I buy really good ones. No sugar, but they are delicious. They are delicious as a salad topper. So again, peppers are a friendly phase 1 vegetable, but they're also a friendly condiment on your phase 1 sheet. So habanero and chilies and all sorts of. There's so very many, but anyway. Pickled jalapenos are amazing, and so instead of needing any amazing mayo or any fake sweeteners, your pickle juice is your liquid to mix up your eggs. And so chopped pepper, some chopped red pepper, some chopped pickled jalapenos, some chives, some garlic, salt and pepper. And then your jalapeno pickle juice binds it all together to fill those eggs, and they are delicious. And you can control the heat. A lot of fun to make, and they disappear immediately. Mm-hmm.
Yum! That's delicious.
Yeah.
Okay, so I left the dessert for last.
Sure. Okay, so when I post my baking, what happens is a lot of the times immediately I get, well, what about gluten-free? What about gluten-free? What about gluten-free? So I am going to start including some gluten-free options when I can, and I am going to give you this recipe broken down into 2. I'm going to give you some gluten-free options and some non-gluten-free options. But what you see there is a 100% gluten-free pie crust made out of your vanilla drink. And that is actually a pumpkin pie filling made out of rutabaga and also your gluten-free vanilla drink mix. Really, really simple to make, assemble, and bake, and really turn out as decadent desserts. There are many different ways that we can put these together and present them to you. So I am going to give you all the different options. We are going to gather together. Mother's Day is coming up next. We're going to gather you up some Mother Day menu ideas and options, things that you can choose, to build some fantastic menus if you are, whether you have a mom or a special auntie or a grandmother or any lovely lady in your life. Doesn't just have to be moms, but we want to give you some great ideas. And I'm a fan of giving alternatives to regular sweets and baking that might trigger people, that might lead them astray. We just want to give you options to keep you strong and steadfast while you're on your journey. And just so that you know that all that other stuff, it's going to be there when you're done in moderation. So we just want to get you to the finish line. And this is a super, super tasty recipe. I've done it before. And every time I recreate them, I just tweak them a little bit to make them better. So yeah, but a very good.
Is this like a cake or a pie or?
It's pie. It's like an actual pie. So there is an actual crust made out of your vanilla drink mix that you actually roll out and put in your pie plate as your crust. Completely optional. And then that is pictured as a pumpkin pie filling. And it is done out of mashed rutabaga, actually. Rutabaga is my preferred. I've had a lot of feedback on this saying, well, can I use the cauliflower? Nope, you can't. It will taste like cauliflower or it will taste like pumpkin pie. Can I use turnip? Well, it doesn't turn out the same, but so you use a rutabaga puree and you use pumpkin pie spice and you use sugar-free maple syrup and a touch of orange marmalade if you want, and the vanilla drink mix makes it smooth and creamy, and you whip that all together and you have the most delish pie filling that is really so close to a faux pumpkin pie. However, you don't need a crust. If you present it in a crust, you don't need a crust though. You can just simply bake it in a dish or in little ramekins and little serving sizes. It's incredibly tasty and just tastes like the real thing. So you're not missing out. Oh, nice, Sandy. That's awesome. Yeah.
So we do have a question, and Joelle, remember that we never circumvent your coach. Each coach has different rules. I have some rules in my clinic that Dee does not use. Like, I don't use any kind of dairy for my clients. Dee gives them the 1 ounce of dairy. So if your coach is having a problem with the sugar-free syrups, ask her to talk to Dee. Dee's an expert coach, has been a coach for many years. And you know what, I didn't always understand all of the different way that the sweeteners worked and all of that. So if she feels uncomfortable with that, maybe she could talk with Dee, and maybe we can negotiate. I don't know.
What's the concern?
Her coach. Hey, honey, we're right in the middle of a video. Thanks, babe. That's my lovely. No. We say hi to Pete, you guys.
Hello.
All right. So the question is, I have a question about last week's baking. My coach and I have a week-long argument about the Da Vinci syrups, and she says they're not on protocol. So let's just talk a little bit about, we talk about this a lot, about the extras and the sweeteners and why they're okay in our minds.
Okay, so actually, I don't make up any rules about sweeteners. This comes from Mike Cial, straight at Super Weekends, and you are allowed a maximum of 4 sweeteners per day in your protocol. However, you have to understand what a sweetener is. And there's a lot of misuse of sweetener out there. And if you're clients, or if you're a client or a coach and you have stalls or your clients have stalls, it's the first thing to look at. We only allow true 0.0s in our clinic. We've had hundreds of dieters. We stock and use Da Vinci syrups. 1 fluid ounce of Da Vinci syrup, sugar-free syrup, is a serving. So it is a very, very generous amount versus a tablespoon or a teaspoon. We can never talk enough about sweeteners. 1 tiny little packet of Splenda or stevia or whatever you're using, that is a sweetener. A stick of gum, whether it is pure gum or spry gum or whatever sugar-free gum, it is a sweetener. Any syrups, salad dressings, even though they're 0.0s, sugar-free ketchup, sugar-free barbecue sauces, any Walden Farm that is sugar-free, each particular serving like whether it's a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, it's a sweetener. So you really have to understand how to count that. There is no different. Splenda Da Vinci is no different than Walden Farms. It's the same. It's the exact same thing. However, if your coach isn't familiar with that product, she might be familiar with sugar-free Torani or sugar-free Skinny Girls. They can always send those tickets into scientific support to clarify that information. So you know what, Joelle, again, just like Renee said, but that's, I can't eat stevia. So stevia is not the only option out there for clients. There are many 000s. And you know what, maybe we can even get scientific to support to give us an official list of, you know, what ideal protein actually likes. I mean, that would be a wonderful thing.
Right.
And you just
we are being really careful about that the only 000s have sucralose or stevia because of the way that the body responds to them. So we are not talking about aspartame or equal sweet and low, those kinds of things, because the body responds to them in a different way. Yeah.
And so they are, you know, sweeteners they're one of the first things to get abused. They really are. Sometimes it's just not enough education. Sometimes it's not understanding what a serving size is. You know, maybe you put 2 packets of stevia in your morning coffee, and then maybe you had salad at lunch and you put 2 servings of salad dressing on your salad. Well, Walden Farms, okay, there, you're maxed out for the day. And then maybe in the afternoon, you mindlessly stuck 2 or 3 pieces of gum in your mouth. It can happen. Like, it's one of those things. That's why we talk about journaling and tracking and really knowing what you're doing. Maybe you get around to supper and you made yourself some rutabaga fries and then you squeeze some sugar-free ketchup on that. Whoops, now you're really, so now you've had extra gum and you've had extra ketchup and you've had salad dressing and you used sweeteners in your coffee, and the FDA can put 000 on something and it's really 0.999. So it's a carb. So all those little carbs get together in their little carb army and ruin some success. So no coach out there is wrong with being leery about sweeteners. They really have to be tracked, and everybody has to be really mindful of their use. And I have some days where I use absolutely no sweeteners at all, and the next day I might use all 4. And you have to journal, you have to track, you have to listen to your body. So my body doesn't appreciate stevia, while other bodies love it. So sometimes it's just what works for you. So we never pigeonhole and say only stevia is allowed or only sucralose is allowed. It can be a preference, but sometimes it can also be on what your body tells you is not happy as well. So and when we're eating clean, especially in phase 1, it's really important to listen to our body and the cues that it gives us after ingesting things, especially fake sweeteners.
So remembering that fake sweeteners are about 10,000 times sweeter than regular sugar. So we don't really want to be using a lot of these 0 products. And even in maintenance, they can cause triggers and cause us to crave things or to start up that sweet thing again that caused us a lot of problems in the beginning. So, wow, we've gotten off track here and gone over about 10 minutes, but we always love to share information with you guys and help your journey along. Next week, we're going to be talking about Mother's Day and sharing a really great Mother's Day menu with you. So we look forward to talking to you then. And Dee, have a great week. It's great.
You too.
All right, everybody.
And you guys, if you have more, we got off track, but if you have more sweetener questions, just put them in the comments, because these are really, really important things to talk about, and even things to take back to your coach. And if your coach isn't sure, there's some really great resources right back at headquarters that can answer some questions for them as well. So we never want to steer you wrong, but we want to give you lots of options.
All right, everybody. Bye-bye.